Welcome, everyone. So glad we got that with sound. My name is Callie Piegard, and I am the Senior Field Advisor here at Prompting. I'm so excited for you to learn about our company tonight. I found this company back in 2009. I was looking for a simple way to stay in touch with my clients and prospects. I wanted to send birthday thank you and holiday cards, but it was time consuming. It was inconvenient. And when I found this system, well, it was the answer to my prayers. It helped me connect with people. But what I didn't expect is that it was also going to help me connect with my purpose and put me on a pathway to prosperity. We're going to talk more about that tonight. But right now, I want you to hear from our Chief Visionary Officer and founder, Mr. Cody Bateman, on why he started Promptings and the best way to act on your promptings. So Cody, take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cody Bateman. I'm the founder of the Promptings movement. Appreciate you being with us tonight. I want to share with you a couple of stories. One is how this whole thing started in the first place and what our mission is and what we plan to do to change this world of ours by helping millions of people act on their promptings. We hope that you're one of them. So it all started back in 1989. I accepted a job offer. I just graduated from college and accepted a job offer to work for an ad agency in New York City. So when we accepted that job, we packed up all of our belongings. I was newly married at the time, had a little baby girl. We packed up all of our belongings, put it in a U-Haul truck. We were driving this little car of ours in front of the U-Haul truck. And we went over to my mom and dad's house to say bye to the family. So we said our goodbyes. And I remember coming out in the front of my parents' home, and we got into the car and we put little baby Whitney in her car seat, and Jody got into the passenger side, and I went to get into the car. And as I went to get in, I looked over in a lot adjacent to my parents' home. My older brother, Chris, was moving some vehicles around in this lot. And at that moment, I had what I call a prompting, an intuitive thought that I needed to stop what I was doing, go over to my brother, give him a hug, tell him I love him, and say goodbye. That was the prompting. And we were in a hurry. There were people waiting for us. There was another couple that was moving with us that was driving the U-Haul truck. And we all needed to leave. And so what do you think happened? I ignored the prompting. I remember getting in the car and driving away, and I honked and waved at my brother as we drove off, and he waved back at me. I'll never forget the look on his face. And we drove away, and we drove all the way across the country, moved into our new home in New York City area. And a couple of months went by and everything was going well until one night I got a phone call about 2:00 in the morning. And my mother was on the other end of that line, and she tearfully let me know that my brother Chris had just been killed in an accident. Now, that was devastating news. In fact, I remember when I got that news, the first thing I thought of is that I had this prompting that I needed to say bye to him, and I ignored it. So at that very moment, I made a promise to my brother Chris, to myself and to my brother Chris. I said to him, I said, I'm sorry, brother, that I ignored that prompting. And I promise you that when I have promptings to reach out in kindness to others, I will act. And I'll do all I can to help as many people as I can do the same thing. That was in 1989. Excuse me. That's when this whole thing started. That was the dream that was put into my mind at that moment. And everything I did from that day forward was to figure out how to deliver the promise. I needed to act on my promptings. I needed to help other people act on their promptings. Now, keep in mind, this is a long time ago. This is in 1989. It was even pre-internet days. We didn't even have the internet back then. So the concept and idea that I had was I had to find a way to help people act on their promptings. And I knew that for myself, the way for me to express myself, my appreciation, my kindness to others, it was a lot easier for me to write those things. Like if I wrote somebody a message in a card, it was a lot easier for me to express myself in a card than it was verbally. So I figured early on that whatever I did, it was going to have something to do with greeting cards, because a greeting card was a simple way for me to act on a prompting. If I had a prompting to say thank you to somebody, I could quickly send them a card with the words of kindness in them. So I started doing all kinds of things pre-internet days to try to figure out how to do that. You can't even imagine the things that we tried to do, but this thing called the internet came along. And when the internet came along and I saw the possibilities of the internet, the light bulb went on that, man, if there was a way that you could send a real greeting card over the internet. So if I could call up the internet and pick a card and type in a message and click it, and somehow it went over the internet to a printer and the printer would print it and send it for me, man, that would be cool. So we went on a long journey to try to figure out how to do that. We actually pioneered the technology that calls for through the internet for variable print on demand on printers. Nobody had done that before us. And we did that back in 2001 and 2001 and 2. So we finally had created what I call a mechanism. We created a mechanism to help people act on their promptings. And what it was is the mechanism allowed me as a person to go onto the internet, onto the mechanism, and choose a greeting card and be able to type a message into the greeting card and then put in an address for that person and push the send button. And then over the internet, it would go to our printers. We would stuff it, stamp it, and mail it out for you. And we started doing this way back in 2002 was when we first started doing this over the internet. Nobody had done it before. So it was a powerful mechanism. In fact, once we had the mechanism to do this, I wanted to start changing my habits and other people's habits. The habit I wanted to create was I sent cards to people every single day. So one of the habits that I had was is that the first person I thought of, I would send a card to. And I'm going to share a story about this card right here. So I got up one morning and my habit was first person that comes to mind. The first person that came to mind that day was a lady by the name of Pat Chase. She does the music at the church I went to. So I went to my mechanism that we had created. We had about, I don't know, maybe 100 saved greeting cards in there. And this was one of them. And it says beauty on the front. So I picked this card. It says beauty on the front. And the inside it said things are beautiful if you love them. So I want you to watch the words that I wrote in this card to Pat Chase, who does the music at the church. So right from my computer over the internet, I typed these words. I said, Pat, just a quick note to let you know, I appreciate what you do for us at the church. You make music beautiful, and I'm a better person for it. Your friend, Cody. That's simple. And I clicked the send button and sent it off to her. Now, I want to explain to you what happened when she received the card. A couple of weeks went by, and I show up at church, and she comes up to me and says, Cody, first of all, I want to thank you for this card you sent me, and I want to tell you what happened the day I received it. She says, I got up in the morning, and I went into the front room of my house. I was going to pick up the receiver of the telephone, my intent was to call the leader of the church to let him know that I was no longer going to do the music of the church. She said, I don't remember a time when somebody thanked me for the service I provided. The only thing I got were complaints as to why I didn't play this music or that music. She says, and I was really frustrated. And so I was about to quit. She said, but something told me to go get the mail first. Now we know that that's called a prompting. She was prompted to go get the mail first. So she did. She hung up the receiver of the phone, did not make the phone call. She went out to her mailbox. The only piece of mail on a Thursday morning was this card. She opened up the envelope from her mailbox, read this card that you're looking at. She says, Cody, I want you to know that I was at my mailbox and I openly wept, she said. And I want you to know that when I went back in the house, I did not place the phone call, and I'm not going to place the phone call. I will keep doing the music of the church, and I will never, ever, ever forget you for how you made me feel with that card. Thank you very much. That's the power of acting on promptings.
Thank you, Cody, for so much for sharing your story. Truly amazing when you act on your promptings and the effect that you can have on other people. When we're done here, I'm going to send you back to the person that invited you onto this webinar. If they have not, they're going to share their promptings website. Just to reiterate what Cody said, we're all about acting on your promptings, appreciating others, and attracting priorities. Promptings are those intuitive thoughts that call on you to take positive action, and promptings will create genuine human connection and guide you to your personal genius. As Cody mentioned, the best way to act on your promptings is heartfelt messages. And the best way to do that is through the promptings mechanism, also known as send out cards. I have two guests on here with me tonight. I want to bring them on so they can share their stories about acting on promptings. I know each of them have a few examples. My first guest is Kathy Allen. I've known Kathy for a couple years now, but over, I guess, the last year, I've really gotten to know her. She's an amazing woman. We got to spend a week to 3 days together, recent our Promptings to Prosperity event. Kathy has a beautiful daughter, loves being a mom, lives out on the East Coast, South Carolina, yes. Mm-hmm. And Kathy, I would love for you to share your stories tonight with our guests.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation of being on the webinar. And yes, July was an amazing event. Looking forward to one coming up in next week. But I think you have some slides for me.
I do.
Awesome. Well, as like you said, promptings, what you do is I scroll some social media for a lot of little things just to catch up with some good friends. This particular card is a friend that I went to high school with and have known her for many years. And it just prompted me to send her a card of encouragement. She has several family members that are having health issues, and she has her own, but she's the one that's actually being the matriarch and holding everything together. And it's just an easy way for me to send her a little thing, like, hey, I'm thinking of you, I'm here for you, just talk, whatever. And like I said, it just one of those very simple ways to be a friend without being there. It's just like, hey, you're always on my mind. I'm always thinking about you. And if you need to reach me out, I'm here. And it's just a simple, easy way to let you know you're not going through things by yourself in life and everything like that. So that is, like I said, when I send those, I really enjoy it. This particular card here, it was another heartfelt card. And talking about our event in July, that event touched my heart so much that I created this card, and I couldn't send it to just one person. I literally created one card, and I sent it to everybody that attended that event. I think there was about 35 of us there at that event, and each of them got the card and that because they made a special place in my heart, and they needed to know that they were very special to me, and that's what I did there. So it's a group send, but it still came from my heart and everything else like that. It was so easy to do. I have one. So no one ever wants to actually have to go buy a sympathy card, and you can never find one that says exactly what you want, but you can find photos that mean very dear to people. And unfortunately, my friend of mine, Robin here, lost her father, and so I got to pull some of her pictures and send it to her. And I mean, that picture of her and her dad there is just priceless. But and she'll cherish the card. You know, it's not a store-bought card, and it means something very special to her. So there are all three different ways of doing heartfelt cards to your friends and family without ever thinking about it.
I love that. And that such a beautiful memory of her dad with all those photos. If you think about it, Kathy, we don't print our photos anymore. They sit on our phones, they sit on our computers, they sit in social media. So for her to have that keepsake of her dad, you're right, you can't go buy that card at a store. Right? Our system allows you to send memories to people. And I know she probably has that displayed somewhere where she can see it every day.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Our second guest is Shawn Barklow. I've known Shawn Barklow for a lot of years, Shawn. I don't even know how many. He is now in Florida by way of Ohio. I'm mourning the loss of the Irish this week.
Glad you're wearing our colors. Appreciate
I have
that.
his Ohio State red and black on. Shawn, I love, what I love with yours and Kathy's cards, because I've seen them, is hers are long and lots of messages, and yours are just like short to the point. And it shows really tonight the power of the system and putting yourself into those cards. So if you want to take it away, I would love for you to share your cards. I am going to bring them up in just one.
Thanks for having me on. Yes, I like my promptings with some humor. I really do like that last card that Kathy shared. I do unfortunately do a lot of those cards, and if you can find pictures, it is a great way to celebrate people's lives. So first card up, I saw a Facebook post from one of my high school classmates that she was having surgery and has to have another surgery. So I found Mr. Barass there and just kind of wrote a quick note on the front with the picture. And I just said, just hope your surgery went well and everything goes smooth and you recover quickly. And I got a message back like, oh my God, I spit my coffee out when I got the card. So you can have a lot of fun with them, even when you're trying to help somebody through a difficult situation. Same with the second one. Joyce is actually somebody I reached out to. I worked with her years ago, and I reached out to her for the 10-card challenge, and she said, oh, it's not a good time. I had knee surgery on both knees and my eye, and I'm using a walker, and she's not very old. She's younger than me. She's not very old. So I found a woman with a walker and just said, remember, it's just part of rehab, not a lifestyle. And I got the all capitals. I love my card. Thank you so much. Made me laugh, and it will make me heal quicker. So they do have a purpose, and I love to have fun with them. So the third card, friend I kind of networked with when I was in Columbus. This is actually the second card I sent to him. He posted on Facebook that he had some challenges with alcohol and he went through rehab, and now he wants to use his experience to help others, whether that's them realizing they need help or helping them through the process. So he had these shirts being like, which ones do you guys like? And so I think there was one on the retired blackout artist. I just said, congratulations on your career. And he's going to be speaking and coaching and help people through their recovery. And I said, I like the retired blackout artist t-shirt the best. So he just said, you know what, these cards really, I'm getting a lot of support. These cards really help me with the support and what I'm going through, and I really appreciate it. So I'm going to continue to send him cards when I get a prompting too. So those are the kind of impact you can have on all kinds of people, all kinds of situations. So
I love those, right? Humor in cards, heartfelt
Absolutely.
messages in cards, right? You do you. And that's what I love about each of the examples, both you and Kathy. You do you in your cards, but you're reaching out to others, acting on those promptings and making it about them and bringing good things into the world.
Thank you.
I love it. So thank you, Kathy and Shawn, for sharing. To close out tonight, I do want to share with you how you can get started with promptings. When we're done here, I'm going to send you back to the person who invited you. You can get your questions answered. If you have never sent a card on our system, let me recommend starting with our Promptings Mechanism 10-card challenge. This allows you to send 10 cards in 20 days for $20, stamps included, anywhere in the world. This is an amazing way to try out our system. You can go and enhance the lives of 10 people, but in the process, you're actually changing 11 lives, yours included. If you've already tried our 10-card challenge, you want to enhance your experience here with promptings and send out cards, we do have our Promptings Mechanism heartfelt prompting cards. We have a $37 a month subscription. It gives you 20 cards with stamps anywhere in the world. A lower add-on card price if you go through your 20 or for those group sends, as Kathy was talking about, and a discount on our gifts. We also have our 97 unlimited. It allows you to send 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 cards a day, and bigger discounts on gifts, premier shipping. That information is there. We also have our promptings process package. This puts all of our favorite things, including the first month of our 97 unlimited subscription, 100 system cards, a virtual assistant service to help you get all your contacts set up. They can do custom branding on the back of your card. They can do all kinds of things for you. You get a coach, invitations to our prompting seminar, which we do a lot of education here on acting on your promptings, and so much more. You can learn about that one by clicking more, or we've got a ton of different options. Again, get back with the person who invited you. They can help you determine what's best for you. And then last but not least, if you love what you're seeing here and you'd love to share promptings and send out cards with others, Kathy does that, Shawn does that, I do that. You can also join our opportunity. If you've got questions on that, again, get back with the person who invited you here. We would love for you to be part of our company. Promptings is truly making a difference. So figure out what option is best for you. Get back with that person who invited you, and please let me be the very first person to welcome you to Promptings. Thanks everyone for joining us. Good night. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye now.